It's still funny. It's ridiculous that it's still funny.
Oh yeah, I'm John Herrera.
Are we doing that?
I think so.
Are we doing that?
I'm Dave Reynolds.
And I'm Scarlett Spager.
Cool.
Oh, that's for the intro. All right, so John, you wanted to talk about the first time you did stand-up in a coffee house, right?
Yeah, it was.
Wow, how bohemian.
Right?
It was very Californian.
Were people smoking clove cigarettes? I guess not in California.
No, it was an alcoholic coffee shop though, so people were drinking beer.
Was there a boardwalk fry?
So it's a bar.
No, it was a coffee shop.
What the hell's an alcoholic coffee shop?
So they served. It's called Sandbox
Very
Coffee House.
Californian.
They served acai bowls in the morning.
Oh my God.
Fancy coffee.
$45 for the acai bowl.
I'm there. I will pay as much as you want to offer.
I don't even know how to pronounce acai. I just learned that today.
You did it right.
I always thought it was like a kai.
Yeah, I like calling it acai.
No.
Like Cobra Kai.
I also like calling it quinoa. Quinoa's fun.
Quinoa? Yeah.
Quinoa's fun, just fun
Quinoa?
to say. No, quinoa.
I like to
It's
say
fun
jalapeno.
Jalapeno?
Yeah, instead of jalapeno.
Chipotle?
Can I get a jalapeno popper? You know, or some chicken fajitas?
I think that's the winner.
So yeah.
All right, well, go ahead. So you're doing stand-up at the alcoholic coffee shop.
No, okay, so they served alcohol. It was also during the fair. We have a county fair every August.
Okay.
Except this August.
What's
What
fair in
county are
California
you in?
like?
Marin?
Ventura County.
What's Marin? Is that
Wait,
where,
wait,
I
where?
don't know where Marin. Ventura County.
Oh my God, like the song.
Yes, it's also in Surfing USA.
He's from like
The
beautiful, beautiful sunny California. Seriously, like
I still don't
joke.
understand this, and you pulled up to Wilkes-Barre.
And he came here for his visit, and it was like one of those like
6 degrees.
February days where it was like snowing and raining at the same time. It was just oppressively hitting your face. He's like, I love this.
It was kind of going with his long johns.
I didn't have any long johns that day. I don't believe so. I did.
But were you regretting not having them?
No, I liked it. It was
All right, so people are hammered at the coffee shop.
People are hammered. It's pretty. I was very nervous. I had 2 jokes. Because basically my first
Was
joke
this like an open mic or like what was
It was
the
an open
setup?
mic. It was an open mic, so like people were playing, people were singing music, people were doing this and that, and like I was like the only guy who had like my fucking legal pad, and like 1 or 2 jokes. The first one was like,
Hey, dude, I saw George Carlin at the Kirby Center, and he had index cards on a stool
Yeah.
next to him. He's like, hey, I'm trying out some new stuff. Do you mind? And they're like, oh my God, you're George Carlin.
Oh my
So
God.
don't feel bad about having it written down. That's what I'm saying.
no, but then like Seinfeld always talked about how he wrote a stand up on legal pads, so I followed that suit.
Oh.
No
So I was just
way.
like-
So you're
Yeah.
fanboying Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I was
Pretty much.
fanboying Jerry Seinfeld all the time because at that time I was just getting into like all the Seinfeld. I was like 17 and I was
All
like,
the Seinfeld.
well, because like my mom had bought like a box set of this.
Ooh, not the
DVD.
box set.
Yeah, and it came with like a little pirate shirt.
Oh no!
that's cool.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think
Yeah.
my aunt has that.
All right, so you got 2 jokes. What did they tell you? You have 5 minutes. What did they tell you? Like, what was this setup?
No, so what they were like, you can go for, I don't even know how long, I don't remember that part, but basically I wasn't going to go up. I was just watching people go and go and go, and then this guy saw my legal pad. He's like, what are you doing there? Like him and his wife were like, what are you doing there? And he's like all hungover.
And so were you like 16?
He's
17?
drunk at the
17,
coffee shop.
17. Okay.
So it was 3 years ago, actually. But yeah, he's like, well, you should go up there, man. You should go up there. And I just like went up. I was shaking the entire time. There's just a mic.
Thanks, random drunk dude. You're just the motivation I need.
Yeah, no, I know. And then, like,
That's what got
because
you.
what happened was he spread it around the 15 people that were there that I was this kid going to do stand-up. And then I wrote, like, one joke about how my dad's girlfriend lives next door, like door to door. Like there's 2 apartments where my dad's girlfriend lives there and my dad lives here. And if you want to know, like, man, how did I word this? It was that bad though. It was like
No.
you can know that it's a loyal like relationship when you've got door to door sort of.
That's not
cute.
bad.
That's that's definitely.
That's
a good
observational.
subject.
I forgot how I worded it.
Very Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, no, I forgot how I worded it, but it was something along
What's
those
the
lines.
deal with next door neighbors?
And then I wrote something about how like I bought a tub of fat-free cookie dough and I gained 5 pounds, but I don't get why because it was fat-free.
That's
That's
good.
not bad. That's pretty good.
So those were the 2 jokes.
I mean, for a 17-year-old kid, man, just to get up and do it is
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
it was fun. And then I walked from the county fair to do that, and then I didn't tell anybody for about a month.
Wow, you were alone.
Yeah, no, I
good. That is like a
Wow.
wonderful fish out of water story of like, you know.
well, because I knew
I'm
A
at
bunch
the
of
county
drunks
fair, you know,
are
like,
just
I-
like shaking
Yeah.
him and they push him on
I envision
stage.
you like rolling into the county fair with like, you know, 2 suitcases and like a straw hat, and you're like, hey, mister, point me to the comedy show, you know?
no, because like the county fair, like the fairgrounds.
You need to pay attention to that. acknowledge that.
Well, I wish I could talk like that in daily life. It fits
What?
my moniker.
It
of,
kinda
like,
does.
everything that
You
I try to
can,
do.
man. Like Conan does that. He does the. Conan's
Hey, how
got
you doing?
the-
What do you see? What do you say?
Yeah, but he also does
Like the
he's got the
old-timey-
he does the old timey like you
Yeah.
know, like the 1890s.
Yeah.
I slide into like the when my go to voice is like the newsy. Like, gee, thanks, mister. Like that
Yeah.
kid, it's always like, we'll make it to California one day. Sure we will.
I want
You know?
to perfect a mid-Atlantic accent so I can just slip into
Oh,
that
that's
and-
great. Like a Katharine Hepburn?
Like a Humphrey Bogart or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. But I love the way they talk. Like, well, it's this day and we're going and it's the news.
I think you could do that. That could be your go-to voice.
All the gin joints and all the places and wait, no, he says it way quieter than that. It's a good movie though. Anyways, so no. I
He says it way quieter than that.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's like all the gin joints.
She had to walk into this one. Play it again, Sam.
Like, what if someone was
That's a
like,
good skit, Humphrey Bogart, but he's deaf.
Play it again, Sam. I didn't hear it. All right. So let's talk about your breakfast stand-up. You said
Oh
you
my
did it at a
God.
leadership conference and you killed.
oh my god, listen. So
Listen.
I still want to write a movie about this conference. To
Was
the
this like a
listeners-
student leadership conference?
No, listen, just let me
Okay.
dive in.
Let's just listen.
I feel like, no, my mom was nervous because it felt culty. It was a leadership conference for students. It was called Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership. He was a TV cowboy. And he started like a
This is not real.
No, that's not
Hugh O'Brien.
Hugh O'Brien was a TV cowboy. And then he like moved into this philanthropy of like telling kids that you matter, and then it evolved into like leadership. I'm totally messing up like my cult founder story wrong. Anyway, but
I'm gonna-
there I am.
You keep talking.
Look it up. There I am in Shippensburg.
Picture.
Parents drop me off. You pull in and it's kids with signs screaming.
God. This guy
They're
right here?
doing yeah. There he is.
See, that guy looks like
That
he
is a
talks.
handsome motherfucker. Look at that guy.
Looking.
I went to
I'll
his
take chicken
leadership.
for $400.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I went to Hobie. And it was weird. You looked at the
Hobie.
kids; they were weird. Look up Hobie.
So was this guy there? Or
He
was
looks
he
like a
He's dead.
19
Well, he died in 2016.
Oh
Wait,
wait,
where
that's
does he-
literally the year I
Hugh
went.
O'Brien
He died the year
Leadership Foundation.
you killed
Maybe you
him.
killed
I
him.
was 16. No, definitely my interpretation of his program probably put him in his grave.
He
I'm not
laughed
even
so hard
kidding.
and then he died of a heart attack. It's
So
just-
the whole time, I'm like there, I hear there's a talent show the day, like the first day I got there, and I'm like, this is the place. I can totally embarrass myself in front of all these random kids. It's like 500 kids from all over Pennsylvania. I do not care what they think of me.
Right, that's good actually. Like
Yeah.
it's a yeah.
Fish out of water, just like John.
Yeah.
It's like a freedom to be like, I'm never gonna see these people.
Yeah,
sort of
I'm
thing.
like, this is great fodder. And okay, so fun fact, I was watching. They had like they play a little video for you first, and there was this one lady. Guys, I don't know if I could say this. She had the funkiest lazy eye.
You can say it.
I can't. it adds to the story. It must be said she had a crazy lazy eye, and I'm thinking, whoa, that's
Crazy lady. guy.
Crazy lazy.
Now, and then you have these group leaders, and everyone's getting, like, they're all, like, taught, like, they're these cool adults. They got themes for their groups. They got candy. And then the one
This
lady up
definitely
there.
sounds culty.
The one lady up there was one lady in the lineup, and I'm like, that's the lady with the lazy eye from the video. Who do you think my group leader was?
Crazy lazy.
Crazy lazy.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got her. Spoiler alert, she's very mean. And
Wait, how old was she?
I have no clue, but she had a baby, I think, because I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Okay.
But
Just recently had a baby?
yeah,
I'm just
But-
imagining her speech.
So this was like 4 years ago for
Yeah.
frame of reference. Okay.
Okay.
cool.
yeah, and so I had like two friends in the group, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna sign up to do stand up. They're like, sure. First thing, she goes up to me, and they're already trying to censor me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like, I'll show you the jokes before I go. Like, that's fine, I don't care. So I had this, like, little crumbled up piece of paper where I was just writing notes. I was like, the cheers, the this, the that, all this stuff. I'm writing it. We were taking field trips to the Capitol, field trips to, like, naval places in Harrisburg. And I have this awesome set. Like, I have such a tight 10 out of nothing, like, out of thin air, because the content to work with was just great. It was just going to be, like, kind of situational humor, kind of observational, like, we're all here. Isn't this effing insane? Kind of unraveling the cult. So we were sleep-deprived like a cult. They wouldn't let you sleep. They weren't feeding us either. They weren't feeding us. I'm telling you, they
They
weren't
only
feeding
fed
us.
you Ritz crackers.
Did I have
for
ice cream for
days.
breakfast one day? Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm cold. Anyway, so talent show rolls around, and I find out there's this other girl doing stand up too, and I'm like mega nervous because she looks like a funny person. Like she's like
Alright, let's
tall,
stop right there.
like
What does that mean?
duty.
Yeah, what does that mean?
She had like this blonde hair, like no makeup. She like talked kind of like a surfer. I'm like, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna wipe
So
the
she
floor
sounds
with
like
me.
a California.
So I'm nervous. I have my like little, my hand is shaking. I have my small like 10 jokes about Hobie on this little piece of paper, right? And this girl goes up there and she tells knock jokes and tater tot jokes, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna kill the place. I'm gonna kill.
I can't wait to follow that.
I'm gonna kill. And then one more kid is in between us, and he pulls out his guitar and he sings Tom Petty's, what is it? The one about flying.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Free falling.
Yeah,
That's more about falling.
That's more about flying, not about flying.
That's the opposite of flying.
And everyone is like crying and like singing along, and I'm like, listen, I gotta snap them out of this. I go up there ready to do the Lord's work and undo this cult. And I am making fun of this organization.
Did you keep it clean, or
Hardcore.
are you going blue?
Oh no, I wasn't blue. I was
Okay.
just pure, like, we are in a cult right now. I was making fun of the cheer.
You went for it. You went for it.
I went for it, and I'm like, censorship, this isn't me. I was like, I went for it, and that was actually an hour before that. Do you know they handpicked 5 kids, and there's this thing called the World Leadership Congress in Chicago, and they wanted to give a kid a full scholarship, and they're like, we've just seen you thrive, and I mean, it's me. I'm a go-getter. I went there and I mastered the cult. I at the
So
Army.
they offered you a full scholarship,
2 hours before.
and then you took the thing apart.
Do you think I got the scholarship?
Yeah. I don't think you did. But
No,
did you?
but it didn't matter to me. I'm like, this is way more important. I'm gonna go for it. Oh my god,
So you're going
Yeah.
subversive with your first ever stand-up bit.
yeah,
ever.
and I
Okay.
kind of toe dipped,
Respect.
and when I got the first like roll of laughs, I was like, we're going for broke. My brain's like, tear them apart. So I just went, I killed it. People, and then everyone knew me. People were laughing, and I think people needed a laugh because this leadership conference, they had people crying. They want you to look into your soul, and then I walked up there, and I kind of smacked it out of the park.
So okay, so what did the crazy lazy have to say to you?
Oh my god, she shunned me for like the rest of the one day that was left. We went to church the
Could
next
she shun
day.
you if she couldn't look at you the right way? You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
couldn't
if she
tell.
looked away from you,
She was always half shutting you.
That was good.
Oh, now I feel bad about it.
No, I know.
Lazy,
You don't
ever listen
understand.
to
She
this.
was so mean. She was so mean. You have no
Okay, well,
idea.
specifically, she sucked.
She sucked.
Yeah, I
It
gotcha.
wasn't her physical appearance. That was just
So
the beginning of the story.
This is kind of awesome. You guys have both done Have you done it since?
Yes, and what do you call it again?
When you do bad?
When you do horrible.
Bomb.
Bombed. I bombed. That's the word.
Yeah.
I did it
where
at my
you do
high
it?
school.
Okay.
For a talent show, and I didn't write any jokes because I was cheer captain. I was busy. They made me do the talent show. Oh my god! And I'm like, I didn't know teachers were gonna show up, and I instantly defaulted to that like observational humor. And we had like an assembly.
So you didn't write any jokes. So you're up there not only.
I wrote
doing
one
stand-up,
joke on
but
my
you're-
hand.
But you're trying to improv.
I was trying to improv,
Okay.
and I had a joke on my hand, and my outfit sucked. But there was this one guy, his name was Lee Roussan. He's a former NFL player. And there's this one running joke because he went to our school and told like a bunch of middle schoolers, he's like, I used to spell love S-E-X. Like, just,
Oh, I've heard that before, yeah.
you have? Yeah. So I tried to do that, and then all my teachers were upset because I said it, not when Lee Roussan said it. Nobody cared because they were paying him to be there. So I kind of got, like, marked off of, oh, like, she just went up there and said, like, vile things and then walked off and no one laughed. No laugh. I'm not kidding. No laughs. I had one cheerleader yell at me, like, woo, go Scar. Not good. And I haven't done it since. But I have a whole notebook.
all right. So I mean so you've had
Great high
You've had
highs,
killed and you had bombed.
roars.
and you did a little bit at some like afterglow things we did here at school, right?
Oh, I did that, yeah, sort of.
Does that not count in your mind?
That didn't count for me because I was working off of somebody else's work, you know what I mean?
Oh, so you did someone else's routine.
Remember I was
okay,
doing Rob
you did
Williams'
Rob Williams.
routine.
That's right. Okay.
So
So,
I-
you haven't done original stand up again.
I haven't done original stand-up since then.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, I just did that because I was, like, deep into Rob Williams at that point, and I was just like, I just want to have some fun. I feel like people would appreciate this. I did mold it a little bit, but then, you know, It's terrible.
So is this like where you guys feel like you want to go with stuff? Was stand up like an aspiration?
Definitely.
I feel like the lifestyle's a little too rough, but like I really want to. There for about like 5 years now. Like all I've been like my only drive has been like listening to stand up, and that's what makes me really happy.
Well, I was gonna say, and I'm gonna say it now because then it will be on tape, and you guys can't go back on it.
Oh yes.
I like. You guys have no idea how like inspirational this has been for me. Like I just like. I've always loved comedy, and like there was a long period of time where I just thought about comedy and just like and I hadn't done that in a long time because like I gotta run an academic department. Do all
yeah,
this
pretty
thing.
much.
And now doing this, like I've just been thinking about comedy and like wanting to write and like. Being, so here's the deal, like this class will end at the end of the semester, but like. You guys want to keep like meeting and doing this?
I love how you're having this discussion in the middle.
That's what I said. We're gonna do it in a podcast so that they can't deny it. I mean, we don't have to be as strict with it, right? But like, I think comedy club.
Let's make it a club.
Yeah,
Let's make it a real club.
Let's make it a club.
And I want to continue this podcast if we can.
Yeah.
If this keeps going well, there's no doubt that I want to continue.
I'm doing spirit fingers right now for everyone at home.
She's not though.
But
like,
I just
she
did.
She said she was doing spirit fingers, but then she didn't. Oh, you
I'm
did.
doing cartwheels.
Jazz hands.
I don't know how to do a cartwheel.
Is that different or spirit fingers?
No, yes they are.
So spirit
yes,
fingers
sir. Spirit
this,
fingers,
right?
jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
There's
are
a
like
difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at
the
fingers
difference, dude. Come on, spirit fingers.
That nice
jazz
visual
hands.
representation on an audio
This is
podcast.
great. This is great. Yeah, it's great. Well, this is cool.
I'm moving just my fingers. Now I'm shaking my hands.
So I just did improv for the first time in a long time in a group in Scranton Fringe, and it was super fun. And so now, like, I've never done stand up. I'm kind of terrified of it. Like, I guess like for me, like it's not. So it's like.
It's because you're up there alone. It's like
and I think that's part of what it is too.
That.
Like I think all three of us here are funny people, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that we could just be spontaneously funny, right? Mm-hmm. Not everybody has that, but I feel like we are. I think for me, it's like I don't know if it's the crutch of other people. It's like I feel like I'm more creative and more funny when there's other people.
Yeah.
Right, but also I don't know that I've ever been in the headspace where I want to sit down and write jokes. Like I sit down and write sketches. I'll write out sketch ideas for people. But I haven't, like, ever... I don't know how to get to that place where I'm going to sit down and write stand-up.
These are my stand-up notes I wanted to show you. I think of, like, one joke at a time, look. Like, and that's what... Cause,
and that's, I mean, people are just wired that way.
You don't scare yourself then.
I write sporadically in my book. Mm-hmm. Like, if I have I can't sit down and write, but if I have an idea, I'll write it down, sort of thing.
I think I've got this hardwired, like, I've been a director for so long that I want to direct to some degree. Not that I don't want to do it myself, too, but, like, it's... I don't know. I don't know if it's that I'm scared of stand-up necessarily. I've never tried it. Maybe I'll force myself to try it.
You should.
I would like to.
What if we force you to do it?
I mean, sure. I mean, you can't force me to do anything, can you?
Well, if we have a verbal agreement.
I think I would like to put myself out of my comfort zone to that level. What about improv? Where are you guys with improv? Because I think there's a lot of, like, what I've listened to a lot of, like, the Conan stuff and other stuff, and, like, it seems like there's a pretty clear line of, like, there's improvers and there's stand-up, right? Yeah. And sometimes there's overlap, but a lot of times it's like, I do improv or I do stand-up, and it's not like, not many people seem to sort of dip their toes in both of those waters, right? Like, I specifically, this was the Middleditch and Schwartz one, but like, like I think it was Middleditch who was saying like, or no, it was Ben Schwartz. He was like, he just bombs he just not a good stand-up. That's how he feels about it. So like,
I think it's completely different. I don't think. I think it's completely different, but I don't think that you should cut one off just because you like one more than the other.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
I will try it. I'll try it. I don't know what's the venue for it, but like.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no venues right now.
Well, if we had a comedy club, we could have open mic nights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That would be good.
Wow. I love this.
We should really develop this.
I mean, we could also do this in concert with the King's players. This is now, like, nobody's going to care about this little podcast. Yeah. Let's talk about bureaucracy within student government, right? But, like...
Sean Cryan.
Yeah. Send this right to Sean Cryan. He'd love it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I've thought about this multiple times. Me and Michael Ecker, my BFF, when I'm talking to him, I'm like, if I could put this on a stage, this would be phenomenal. Is that improv? My brain's trying to detach it and make it stand up and like write jokes one-sided, but is that improv, that ability to just like fodder with someone?
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
Because we do it for an audience sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, it's it's in the DNA of comedy. Like, you go back to vaudeville, right?
Yeah.
There's, like, the comedy team stuff, like, you know, Burns and Allen, and, like, you know, like, that's... I think it's improv, but it's probably also, like... I mean, when does it cease to be improv? When you write it down and do it again? I mean, that's probably what... Like, once it becomes an act that you're honing, right?
Yeah.
Like, Conan talks about how, like, he did improv stuff, but, like, he considers himself a writer more than an improver, right? Because he wants to look at all the angles and, like, you know... So, like, I think maybe...
The wording and the delivery and...
So maybe the conversation is improv, right? But if you then pull out of that conversation things that worked, then you're turning it into an act.
But I can't do it alone. Okay, not to break into song in Chicago.
I don't think any
But improv doesn't require, like, a number of people. It's the... You know, it's you might have a premise, right? You have a premise or a circumstance, and then you go, right? So, like, our thing that we just did in Scranton, you know, there was lots of rules to it, right? But the basic gist was there's 3 people in a restaurant. Why are we here? And we would get, like, you know, divorce party over and over again. It was weird, right? You're a divorce party, or you'd be like, you know, one was like you're a family business and you're filling out the will, right?
Yeah.
So then you run, right?
Yeah.
So nothing is scripted, right? So there's that, you know. There's no net, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then I think adding off that, it's like, just because you gain material from talking with another person does not make it not stand-up. It's like, because you listen to Bert Kreischer a lot.
Yeah,
right? And he just tells about experiences, but within those experiences, he's putting on an act because he enjoys messing with people.
Yeah.
You know, so... Ultimately, there's a mix of both. It just depends on what you want the final product to be.
I would think that tons of stand-up comes from improv, right? Like, you're working it out on your feet, right? That's... You know, it's then when you take that bit worked, right? Let's go back and, you know, polish it and reuse it. And, like, that's where I think the writer's brain comes in more, right? You know, so that's part of, like, what I need to be able to I think, harness more to do stand-up, right?
Can I tell you a kismet moment of me and Michael's conversation? So, we were talking, this is before Michael went and lost 40 pounds without me. We were... we would make, like, fat jokes and stuff. I think this is when we realized that we were, like, kind of soulmates in some respect. We were talking about our weight and talking about, like, just certain things, and we arrived at the conclusion where we both said out loud that we've Googled, you ready? Home remedies for diabetes.
Yeah. I've done that too, because, you know, I got a touch of the beatus. So,
we're like frequent urination, all these things that we both Googled. And it was like, I think when you're writing, you can do it alone, but having a person where you can arrive at a conclusion, like, I wouldn't dare think to write a joke about the fact that I've Googled home remedies for diabetes, but someone else saying, because it came from such a dark place. Like,
but so much,
but I just never thought.
Like, I don't know if we're ready to announce on the podcast that the sketch that you pitched last week, right? So let's just say for the 3 of us, the sketch that you pitched last week came from, I don't think, a light place.
It wasn't a good.
But maybe there's the sanctity of the comedy class where you felt comfortable talking about that, right? But is there something different where, like, if you're writing a sketch, there's the filter of, like, you know.
How will this be perceived?
Well, also, but, like, it's not just you up there saying it, right?
It's not me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you said you would happily participate in that sketch, and maybe
Easily.
Normally you were saying you wouldn't want to participate in sketches, right? So I think that there's sort of that, like, people are just wired differently, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, with this one, but would you do that same bit in a stand-up routine?
Like, I feel as if
this is horrible podcasting, by the way.
This is terrible.
Remember that thing we talked about that no one can know? So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Let's just say it was dark.
It was a very dark sketch, but I was related. I think it was, like, the relatability. But sometimes I almost feel like when I pull things from our conversations as if I'm kind of stealing from him. And there was another joke where we were talking about a professor, and he said, oh, like, say what she sounds like. And I said, like, drunk. I said something that wasn't as funny as him. I think I said she sounds like a tyrant when she talks. But we said it at the same time, and I said a tyrant, and he said a sex worker. So imagine, oh, what do you think this professor sounds like? And then as I start to say tyrant, you say sex worker. Ready? She sounds like a...
We're going to reenact this?
Yeah, just okay, ready? She sounds like
a sex worker.
Tyrant. But, like, you know what I mean? Couldn't work without that.
Oh, my God.
Sure, but and then like that's kind of the nature of improv, right? I mean, like, I don't know, like, do you have a fear of improv?
I actually do, even though I think we do it.
Well, then if you're gonna make me do
lives.
stand up, then I'm gonna make you do improv.
Ah.
What about you?
I'll do both.
Yeah, I think you like kind of like.
I freeze up, but I'll do it if it pushes me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing about improv that people are nervous about is like lack of a safety net. Whereas like to me, I think like if I wrote a tight 5 and I got up there and I bombed, I think it would devastate me so much more because I had taken so much time over that tight 5. You know what I mean? And like in improv, if I bomb, like who the hell cares? The next group's coming in, right? Like that. I mean, that was the case with this. There was like a new group coming in, but like. There's lots of different. There's lots of improv. Sometimes it's quick, like 2-3 minute games. Sometimes it's like long form, 45, 60 minutes, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think it's a really good skill to get people for lots of things, right? But I don't know.
I feel like it comes from this deep whatever inside of me. Like they call it imposter syndrome. So there's part of me that. No matter how like good I do at something, how much I excel, there's something deep in me that's like, you're literally not that. Like, you're an imposter. You're not funny. I guess it comes from like a lack of like insurance and self-esteem.
So ask Michael Ecker about title of show. It's a Broadway musical.
Okay.
But there's a song called Die Vampire Die.
Okay.
Which is all about what you're talking about. It's like the little vampires that like pop up and say like, you're too short, you're too fat, Sondheim did it more original than you did, right? And so like I think it's not unique to you necessarily. I think everybody has like those little moments of doubt, right?
I think improv brings it out. For me at least, the way you're saying stand up does. Like I feel like we have two different fears.
But don't you let that fuel you? I use my insecurities and like all that stuff to like voice my improv and my stand-up sort of thing. Like that's where my comedy comes from, is my insecurities.
That's where my success comes from in my like student media outlet life. Like I'm not a theater major. I think I'm always trying to prove people wrong. So I think that's where a lot of my content comes from, at least when I'm producing.
You mean stuff like your journalism stuff?
Yeah, definitely my journalism stuff. I took over the newspaper this year and I wanted to do better than the girl who gave me a hard time, and I did. And I think that insecurity kind of I must do a better job than her to prove her wrong, even though she's like long gone. Yeah. So like the way you do that to fuel that, I do that to fuel.
So it's not insecurity, it's spite that's fueling you.
Well, sometimes, yeah.
I mean, that's a real thing, though. That's a real thing, for sure.
You guys know who I want to spite from my program.
Guys, listen, like, I can't get into specifics, but there are things that, like, I have absolutely done artistic things out of spite.
Oh my god, yeah!
100%.
Oh my god, yeah!
I've chosen Shakespeare plays just to be like, oh, you don't think we could do it? Well, guess what? I'm just gonna do Hamlet then. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun to do something that somebody doubts that you can do.
Yeah. Always.
And like, as much as we don't want to admit it, it's fun to be better at somebody that you don't like than somebody you don't like.
What's wrong with admitting it?
I don't know.
I think it's all right that we can excel. You should be allowed to excel in things and be proud of those things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a dick about it and you're like, I'm better than you, then you suck.
See,
unless you do
like
it in a comedic sense, because like depending on what kind of comedy you guys like, some comedians are dicks on purpose, and that's part of their character. You know?
Okay. I mean? Give me an example, like Jeselnik.
Dice.
Jeselnik is but
well, yeah, Dice is like, but Dice is just like Dice, right?
But Jeselnik is like, he writes beautiful jokes, and like that's why he can get away with the dickishness.
I just came across somebody, I can't remember his name. He does a bunch of roast stuff, but he took apart this heckler. I sent it to you guys, didn't I?
Did you? Maybe.
I think I did. Yeah. So he's telling jokes, right? And so he goes into this Helen Keller joke. I had to have sent this to you guys.
I don't think so.
Is it in the Moodle?
Yeah. I think no. I think I sent it to the comedy club thing or whatever comedy class thing. But basically, he just like he starts telling this Helen Keller joke, and this woman goes off on him about like how like just like you shouldn't make fun of people's special needs and all this kind of stuff. And then like he just. You guys have to watch this. This is horrible podcasting again, but it was just like the insults that he was coming up with were unbelievable and so fast. And right, so like, there's like Don Rickles. Like you guys talked to Dr. Little about that, right?
Yeah, like the podcast that we're not going to release. Yeah. But yeah, we talked about Don Rickles a little bit, and Oh yeah, so we're gonna awkwardly transition, and I mean
Don
smoothly
Rickles.
transition. Don Rickles.
And
Mr.
clap.
Canada.
Don Rickles.
And clap sync. Yeah.
Line it up,
it's
line it
gonna
up.
be fun to edit.
I've been staring at Hugh O'Brien. Here's the thing. Look at him. Look at him back here.
He looks like
Rugged and like James Bond.
he looks like
And then
okay.
you got like
I
oh.
was with him on it. It
He looks
says
like
I'm
Henry
you.
Cavill.
Definitely had a couple of drinks in
Yeah.
between those two things.
Don't you love seeing celebrities?
Hugh
just
O'Brien Youth
deteriorate?
Leadership Foundation. Look.
I know. We believed you. I didn't believe you. That's why I looked it up. But
It was a fever dream.
Remember last year when you were crushing on Paul Newman and were trying to prove how attractive he was?
yeah, that's not something that needs to
Wait,
be
the
proven.
salad guy.
It's just-
Wait, is that the salad guy?
You know what? All right.
Paul Newman.
You guys talk about Don
is
Rickles for a half
all
second.
right looking. No,
No.
We're switching to this.
Okay. No.
We're
Okay.
switching
Fine.
to this.
All right. Let's talk about Paul Newman and whether he's all right looking. All right. Let's find an image, shall we?
I think he's attractive based off of the salad bottle.
Let's see here.
Is he the salad bottle guy?
about-
Someone's
Yes,
gonna
he's
say
the
yes.
salad bottle guy.
How about do this one?
Oh yeah.
Huh? Yeah? Are you kidding me? Are you straight kidding me? I feel like Scarlett's all right with it.
He looks like Paul
I mean,
Walker in that photo.
No, he looks
Okay,
like
give-
Paul Newman. Maybe Paul Walker looked like Paul Newman, but Paul Newman never looked like Paul Walker.
Okay, give me
Look
another
at the
one.
smile.
Was it Paul Newman in a Mel Brooks movie?
Maybe.
It's a silent movie.
Here he is.
Oh my
All
god.
of his-
Why are you saying he's not attractive?
I think he's fine.
I knew
looking.
straight off of Caesar's
Dude, look at
salad
his
that he was
eyes.
attractive.
His eyes are like they're
Yeah,
like
but his-
mesmerizing
Yeah.
fools.
His
I
hair
just wanna-
is just
I need
not.
more.
His hair? That's what you're saying.
I
His
love curly
hair?
hair.
He looks like a skinnier Dolph Lundgren.
Oh my god.
Wait,
I can't. We're done.
We're done.
I'm closing the window. Let's all look at Hugh O'Brien.
what men are attractive? How many chili peppers do you give him?
Paul Newman?
Yeah.
Infinite chili peppers.
Do you give him the same level of chili peppers as the eagle from Muppets? Are you getting my reference?
Yes,
from
I
last
do.
week's
I do get your
conversation?
reference.
I
Yeah.
get a great podcast because they don't know what we're talking about with chili peppers.
Doesn't
We're
matter.
talking
Chili
about
pepper. No, we don't have to. Why context? No need to contextualize
Why
the chili peppers.
context?
They can
Rate
figure out
my
what chili
Paul
peppers
Newman.
mean.
Oh, okay, yes.
Rate
Right?
my old
Indeed.
movie hero.
I think Paul Newman gets an infinite number of chili peppers. I give Hugh O'Brien in that picture.
I
I give
think
like
Hugh
3 or
O'Brien's
4.
10 times more attractive than Paul Newman.
I think that
I think
you have a problem. Well, let's find a picture of Hugh O'Brien with his shirt off. And then really we can figure it out, right?
On his wiki page.
No, but he looks like Henry Cavill in that first photo. I mean, now he looks
Why?
like...
He
No.
didn't age well.
Henry
He didn't age
Cavill
well.
looks like him. This guy came before. Let's talk about past and present tense, John.
No, but he
Are you
didn't
saying I
age
don't
well.
understand how time works?
Newman
I'm not
aged
sure that
well.
you do, based on your. Sorry, what were you saying?
Newman aged well. O'Brien didn't.
Okay, well that's a whole other thing too, right? Like
Well, yeah, Newman aged better.
Newman is a silver fox.
You know who didn't age well? Don Rickles.
Newman.
He looked the same.
All right, you
right?
want to bring it back to Don Rickles? Don Rickles aged wonderfully in the sense that he never changed the way he looked, right? I mean, maybe you're sure, like, Don Rickles looked kind of like a blown-out Don Rickles in 1950, and he looked like a blown-out Don Rickles when he died a couple years ago, right? I mean, seriously, that's not a bad thing, is it? Let's do it. Let's do the side-by-side.
Don Rickles?
Yeah.
You know who didn't age very well either?
I'm gonna spit.
Wait, no, what was the name?
Seriously though, look
The
at
Keebler elf.
here's
No.
Don Rickles through the ages, right? He looks exactly the same. Here he is, like.
Come on.
I'm not making fun of him.
I
I'm just saying
know.
Don Rickles looked like here you
Like
go.
Don Rickles.
Here he is with Frank Sinatra. Maybe that's not Frank Sinatra, but look at that hair, right?
Yeah.
Don Rickles, bam. Don Rickles. This is the same guy, right? Never aged.
He was good in Casino.
He was good in Casino. Hey, let's just leave on that one.
Okay. How are we gonna end
These are
this
great
episode?
visual gags
This
of
is-
looking at.
Yeah, this. Well, I mean, once we make this,
sorry.
once we make.
Great stuff. So I think that maybe what we should. Well, here's what I'm taking from this is about putting ourselves into places that are not our comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely am not comfortable with stand up. I'll try it. You'll
I'll
try
try
improv. What is something that you're nervous about doing?
I'm nervous about doing stand up again, so I'll try it again
Okay.
with original stuff and start writing. I think that's also my.
Also, we don't. We need to find a venue for this.
I think a venue is going to be rough, especially now. But
The
ultimately,
Burke Auditorium is. You
the
can
Burke-
use it.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
Burke might
kidding.
be fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, let's all challenge each other and hold each other accountable because
Yes.
it's recorded now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then that's the thing.
Cool.
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 No, yeah, I went to a fundraiser with my boyfriend this weekend, and his old teacher was drunk and straight up called him a terrorist.
Oh, shit.
So why do I have the right to call someone else's boyfriend ugly?
You can call anybody ugly.
You think my boyfriend looks like a terrorist?
Right. That's an American right. You can call anybody you want to ugly.
Yeah, I guess. It's sort of dickish, but you can.
You can call anyone ugly, especially servicemen.
I'm defending you, and we cut that part out, but you just bombed on somebody's boyfriend.
That is true. What gives her the right? Have you seen her fiancé? That looks like a slice of trash.